This episode was made possible thanks to generous supporters on Patreon. Many people experience difficulties when it comes to fast picking and precision at the same time. And that's why today I want to share with you a small trick that will instantly improve your picking technique. So let's get started. Quite often I've seen with my students, and not only, the problem with becoming messy and easily tired in higher tempi. And usually the reason for that is playing with applying way too much force and at the same time picking digging deep into the strings. The effect that this thing has on your playing is that it requires much more force and therefore you get tightened, and of course you can't be precise when all of your hand muscles are tight. Furthermore, this is quite an exhausting thing to do, and therefore it's not really an efficient way to play. Luckily, there's a relatively simple solution of this problem, and that's why I developed for you an
exercise.
We approach this matter in a Buddhistic way, which means that we need to find the middle path. And in other words, this means to calibrate our picking. To do so, we need to define the extremes, the hardest picking and the softest picking. And to achieve that, we do a simple tremolo on one string, and I recommend you to do this on the third string because it's the one that's the most sensitive to deviations. So we start picking with our usual approach, the usual force, the usual pick depth. And then we start gradually increasing the force that we apply on the picking and also the depth of the pick inside the string. And at a certain point, we get this very ugly sounding where the string is slapping against the frets and the pick is scratching aggressively and the notes go a little bit sharper. And essentially this is the limit where our hardest picking is. And now we've defined one of the extremes, and now we need to go the other way. And this means that from this aggressive position we start diminishing the force that we apply on the picking, and we also decrease the depth of the pick inside the strings. And therefore we get from very loud and sloppy to very soft picking. At the end we reach a point where the pick is barely touching the string, and this is where we can notice that some of our pick strokes start to disappear. And this is quite a common thing. It means that our picking is not really even. And this is the spot where we could fix that. And we just keep playing this tremolo with the softest possible picking, with the pick barely touching the string. And we just make sure that all of our pick strokes are audible and even. Now we've defined both extremes, and now the next thing to do is to vary between these two extremes several times so you can find a sweet spot in the middle. So you just go with something like this. And let's say that this is our sweet spot. And essentially this is how you calibrate your picking. And I would suggest to do this for every riff or solo that you're struggling with. and this will immediately have a very good impact on it. And at the same time, make sure that you stay relaxed all the time, because this is a huge part of the thing. Usually when you find this sweet spot in the middle, it applies to most of the things, so the additional calibration that you need to do is something that's rather fine-tuning. And I can assure you that this thing will definitely improve your picking technique. So that's everything for today's episode, and I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching, and please give it a like and leave a comment below to help the YouTube algorithms to share this video with more people. And if you like my work, consider supporting me on Patreon down in the description, where you can get access to many interesting things like tabs, audio downloads, exclusive materials, and other benefits, and the membership starts as low as $3 per month. And now you can also support the channel by the YouTube membership program by clicking the join button down there, and you're getting the same benefits. And if you prefer to support me by a single donation, you can do so using the PayPal me link below. If you're a first-time viewer, please subscribe to my channel and click that bell notification button down there to get informed when I upload new video. See you next time, and remember, practice makes perfect.